$75. On a car with no driver. Not a test vehicle, not a concept. A commercial Tesla Robotaxi, operating legally on public roads in Austin, Texas, was sitting at a curb waiting for a passenger, and the Austin Police Department issued it a citation. There was no one to hand it to, no one to sign it, no one behind the wheel. Cathie Wood, one of the most powerful investors in America, was about to climb in, and she posted the ticket on X and tagged Elon Musk. That same week, Tesla announced it had expanded driverless coverage to the entire Austin metro area. 4,285 square miles, bigger than Rhode Island. No steering wheel required. Uber executives are staring at numbers that no longer make sense. Waymo just spent years building 3,000 vehicles to hold this market, and Tesla is doing it with 20. But the real number, the one buried inside that coverage map, is not the one Tesla put in the headline. Stay to the end, because once you see what 20 cars covering 4,000 square miles actually means for your next ride, and for the 1.5 million Americans whose job is driving strangers somewhere, the announcement looks completely different. There was a parking ticket, sitting on a car that had no driver, no one behind the wheel, no safety monitor in the passenger seat, no human anywhere in or near the vehicle, just a Tesla alone at the curb, waiting for a passenger, and a citation from the Austin Police Department for staying too long. The ticket was $75. No one could claim it, no one could sign it. Cathie Wood, the CEO of ARK Invest, the woman whose fund has bet billions on Tesla's future, was on her way to get in. She tagged Elon Musk on X and asked if Tesla had a plan for this. That moment on June 9, 2026 is not a glitch in the Tesla story. It is the Tesla story. A company that promised the world a driverless future is now living inside the awkward, absurd, genuinely strange reality of what that actually looks like. And Austin, Texas is ground zero. On June 3, 2026, Tesla's official Robotaxi account posted 4 words on X: unsupervised Robotaxi now in the entire Austin metro area. That announcement covered 4,285 square miles of roads, suburbs, highways, and corridors, including Austin Bergstrom Airport and the stretch of I-35 running past Giga Texas itself. To put that in context, 4,285 square miles is larger than the entire state of Rhode Island. Tesla just made the entire metro area of a major American city drivable by machines. No permits pending, no pilot zone, no test track. A geofenced commercial service open to anyone with the app, covering a region bigger than most people's home states. According to reports from Basinor, a ride in Houston averages around $11 for a 6-mile trip. In San Francisco, analysis of nearly 94,000 rides from November 2025 through January 2026 put the average Tesla Robotaxi fare at $8.17. According to data from Obi, a ride-hail aggregation platform. That is roughly half what Lyft charges for the same distance in the same market. No driver, no tip, no surge pricing. What you are watching is not a demo. It is not a controlled test with media handlers and a PR team. It is a commercial ride-hailing service operating in 3 Texas cities, Austin, Dallas, and Houston, with no human in the front seat. But here is where the story stops being straightforward and starts being something stranger. The vehicle taking those rides is not the Cybercab. Let that land for a second. The car Tesla has been building, revealing, and promoting as the future of autonomous transport. The one with no steering wheel, no pedals, the teardrop design that looks like it rolled off a science fiction set, is not the car picking up passengers in Austin. The active fleet is modified Tesla Model Y units. Production vehicles. The same car sitting in driveways across America, now running as driverless taxis. The Cybercab itself has been rolling off the Giga Texas production line since February 17, 2026. Tesla confirmed official production ramp-up on April 24, targeting hundreds of units per week. Since then, Cybercabs have been spotted in at least a dozen states: Austin, the Bay Area, Dallas, Tampa, and as far as Chicago, Boston, Pittsburgh, and Lawton, Oklahoma. Not one of them is carrying a single paying passenger. Here is what the Cybercab actually is. Because the EPA just told us in filing documents submitted May 21st and certified May 26, 2026. Curb weight, 3,113 pounds. That makes it the lightest electric vehicle on the US market by a significant margin, roughly 700 pounds lighter than the lightest Model 3. Battery, 48 kilowatt-hours. Motor, a single front-mounted permanent magnet unit producing 219 horsepower. Projected range, adjusted from EPA test data, approximately 293 miles. And then there is the efficiency number. 165 watt-hours per mile. Tesla VP of Vehicle Engineering Lars Moravy confirmed the figure. It is an EPA-certified rating, not a marketing claim, not an internal target. At 165 watt-hours per mile, the Cybercab is the most efficient electric vehicle ever certified in the United States. The next closest, the Lucid Air Pure, consumes 28% more energy to cover the same distance. At average U.S. electricity rates of roughly 16 cents per kilowatt-hour, the Cybercab costs about 2.5 cents per mile in energy. A Model 3 costs 3.8 cents. A Hyundai Ioniq 5 costs nearly 5 cents. That gap is not incidental. It is the economics that make a $30,000 Cybercab, which is Tesla's stated price target, a structurally different business proposition than anything Waymo or Uber can put on the road. Picture this. You open the Tesla app somewhere in downtown Austin. The coverage map fills the screen. Pflugerville to the north, Manor to the east, Austin-Bergstrom Airport to the south, Giga, Texas on the edge of the frame. You request a ride. The estimated wait is 15 minutes. Somewhere out there, one of 20 vehicles is navigating toward you across that entire grid. 20 vehicles. That number is coming back. Hold on to it. What changed legally in the weeks around this launch is also worth understanding. Texas enacted a law on May 28, 2026, formally authorizing autonomous vehicles to operate without a steering wheel or pedals on public roads. California's DMV adopted new enforcement rules on April 29, taking effect July 1, 2026. Rules that allow police to issue moving violation citations to driverless cars for the first time. Previously, officers could only ticket autonomous vehicles for parking violations, which is how a Tesla ended up with a $75 citation and no one to hand it to. And the number Tesla buried inside that coverage map is where this stops feeling like progress and starts feeling like something else entirely. Here is the number nobody is putting next to that map. 20. According to community track data from the Robotaxi tracker and reporting from Electrek in May 2026, approximately 20 Tesla vehicles were operating as active unsupervised robotaxis across Austin, Dallas, and Houston combined as of early June 2026. The fleet had actually declined from earlier highs. In May, Electrek reported the fleet was shrinking, not growing. Musk had indicated Tesla was holding back aggressive scaling until FSD version 15, a major software rewrite, is ready. That pushes meaningful expansion to late 2026 at the earliest, according to Electrek's reporting. Compare that to Waymo. Alphabet's autonomous vehicle division currently operates approximately 3,000 robotaxis across multiple U.S. cities, completing hundreds of thousands of paid trips every week, according to Electrek. Waymo is building a new manufacturing facility in Mesa, Arizona. It is preparing launches in Atlanta, Miami, and Washington, D.C. Its average wait time is 5.74 minutes. Tesla's is 15.32 minutes. Tesla, 20 active unsupervised vehicles. Waymo, 3,000. That is the gap sitting underneath the announcement about Rhode Island-sized coverage. But here is what that gap does not tell you, and this is the part that changes how you read the next 5 years. Waymo's vehicles cost approximately $160,000 each to produce, including hardware retrofits according to industry analyses. Tesla's Cybercab is targeting a retail price under $30,000. At 165 watt-hours per mile, the Cybercab's energy cost per trip is structurally lower than anything currently on the road. A vehicle that costs $30,000 to build, covers 293 miles per charge, and spends 2.5 cents per mile on energy does not need to charge a Waymo-level fare to generate a return. Wolf Research has projected Tesla's robotaxi service could reach $250 billion in annual revenue by 2035. That estimate models a cost per mile of approximately $1, with 50% U.S. market share, according to reporting from April 2026. For context, Uber's total global revenue in 2025 was around $45 billion. Now ask yourself what happens to the roughly 1.5 million Americans who drive for Uber and Lyft when a car that costs $30,000 undercuts their fares, never needs a break, and cannot be unionized. That is not a hypothetical. That is the architecture of what Tesla is building. The Cybercab has been EPA certified. It has been introduced into commerce. The filing lists May 29, 2026. It is being produced at Giga, Texas at a ramp Tesla describes as closer to a consumer electronics manufacturing line than a car plant, targeting what Musk has called a 10-second production cycle. It is being driven across 12 states. It is gathering data, and when FSD version 15 arrives, which Tesla is targeting for late 2026, according to Electrek, the company has said it intends to expand the fleet aggressively. Musk has said Tesla is targeting coverage for a quarter to half of the U.S. population by the end of this year. That is Tesla's stated goal. The gap between that target and 20 active vehicles is the size of the bet Tesla is making right now. A car with no driver got a parking ticket this month. Nobody could claim it. Kathy Wood rode through Austin without looking at the road once. And somewhere outside Boston, a Cybercab with no steering wheel and no passengers is driving in circles, learning. The parking ticket is still out there, unclaimed. And the car that got it is already back on the road. We promised you the number Tesla buried next to that map. It was 20, not 20,000, not 2,000. 20 vehicles running unsupervised across 3 cities in the largest state in the continental United States, covered by a map bigger than Rhode Island. That gap between the map and the fleet, between the coverage and the cars, is the most honest picture of where autonomous driving actually stands in June 2026. Not behind where Tesla promised, not ahead of what anyone imagined, just strange, specific, real in ways that include parking tickets and 15-minute wait times and a CEO being asked on X what to do when a robot car gets cited by a cop. The Cybercab is the most efficient electric vehicle ever certified. It is in production. It is driving across America. When it starts carrying passengers, and the regulatory and software conditions for that are being built right now, the economics of getting somewhere change. Not eventually, by design. Here is the question worth sitting with. If a Cybercab pulled up outside your house tomorrow, no driver, $11, would you get in, or would you wait for the safety data first? Somewhere in Austin right now, a car with no driver is picking someone up. The meter is running. Nobody is watching the road.